Good morning. I want to share some thoughts that I picked up from Bob Goff in his book, Catching Whimsy. He quotes Psalm 84, one of my absolute favorite Psalms. And oh, by the way, we're starting a series this coming Sunday entitled Psalms for Summer. Yeah, we'll be covering a lot. There's a chance we'll do 84. Better is one day in your courts, O Lord, than 1,000 elsewhere. I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. I love this verse. Many Sunday mornings we have one of the students just said to me, those windows are perfect for you. There are windows that are this high. I can see when people are coming. And so I often open the door and I quote this verse to them. I love it. He goes on to say something, this really struck me because he talks about the citadel in Haiti, which is outside of the village. Closest village is Milo, which is the village where I've spent the most of my time in my many visits to Haiti. And the citadel is really cool. I've been up there at least a half dozen times. And it's pretty awesome. It took 20,000 workers, took about 15 years. It's protected by 360 cannons. And supposedly it held enough food for 5,000 people to live for a year, which was quite a statement considering the poverty level in Haiti these days and the lack of food. But here's the thing, he says, nobody ever moved in and lived there. Now I know that they got soldiers up there from time to time, and I've heard people say different things, and I want to research this more. But this is pretty fascinating. But then he says, we build fortresses in our own lives as well. And the whole purpose of this was to scare the French off, and maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but we build castles all the time, don't we? Like out of our jobs, our families, things that we've purchased. And Jesus is the one who said, your life does not consist in the abundance of your possessions. Now, there's a lot of people in America that would argue with that. A lot of people around the world would say, au contraire, but my life does consist of that. And if that's the case, then we're missing the mark. We're missing what life is really all about. Jesus doesn't want us so much building a castle as he wants us being a part of his kingdom and building his kingdom. Jesus, by that statement I just quoted, is basically saying, I didn't give you life so that you could build castles. And castles have walls and moats and things like that. And it's for protection. That's why the citadel was built. It was to scare off the enemies. But Jesus said he wanted to build a kingdom to dwell in. He also referred to it as his Father's house, and in his Father's house are many rooms, enough for, I believe, billions and billions of people. So there's a big difference between building a castle to try to impress people and building a kingdom that's to the glory of God. So castles have moats, as Bob Goff puts it, to keep creepy people out. But kingdoms, we want to build a bridge. So what are we better at? Building something that keeps people out or keeps people in. I'm not talking politics here. I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about how we relate to people. Castles also have dungeons for people who've messed up. But in the kingdom of God, there's grace. You probably couldn't believe the things that people have confessed to me. Just today. Can't repeat it, but yeah, never heard that one before. So there's another thing that castles have, trolls. I remember when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I had a troll, a little doll. They were in about 1964, 65. And I think it had purple hair. And I remember my grandfather had a farm and I lost it. It went between the boards by the pigs and no one was going down there in that pigsty to get it out. I like what Bob says, trolls aren't bad people, they're just people that we really don't understand. And then he goes on to say, it's how we treat the trolls in our lives that will let us see how we're doing with our faith. The football coach for the Broncos and for Atlanta later, I can picture him, last name Reeves, he had a sign on his wall. And he said the true character of a man can be seen in how he treats people who have absolutely nothing to offer him. Isn't that the truth? How are we treating people that have nothing to offer to us? And the reality is, maybe they have more to offer than we even think. But I just want to encourage you today, build God's kingdom. And that kingdom is going to be so much more impressive than whatever castle you could ever build. God bless you. Have a great week.